So as many of you who know me know that I like to operate very efficiently. That's kind of the number one priority in my life, is how can I make things more efficient? And not for any grand reason, but just so I have more free time, right? I don't want to waste a bunch of my free time doing stuff that could be done much faster, much more efficiently. I really value my free time, and I don't get a lot of it as a business owner. So I try to make things as efficient as possible, within reason, of course. So when it comes to your health and your fitness, try to think of how many things you can optimize, make more efficient, or for lack of a better term, idiot proof, right? So whether it's setting alarms, whether it's having appointments, whether it's meal prepping, try to think of as many things as you could do that you could automate or make more efficient, so you don't have to waste time and mental energy or brain power worrying about it. A lot of people are weirded out by the fact that I eat the same thing every day, or 6 days a week. I pretty much just consume the same foods. But the reason I do that is because then when I go to the grocery store, I have the exact same list. I know exactly what I need. When I think about the routine of having to cook, I know exactly what to do. I don't have to waste any mental effort on it, any mental energy on it, any extra time on it, thinking about it or dealing with it, because I already know how long it's going to take. So I can budget my time appropriately. I can budget my finances appropriately, and just takes all the guesswork out of it. That old quote about Albert Einstein had 2 suits in his closet and a bunch of copies of it. That way he would just alternate suits every day, and he never had to waste any mental energy on what to wear. I have a little bit of that too with my clothes. Everything's just on a rotation, so I don't really care that much about what I wear. I have different outfits for work, and I just grab whatever's next in the drawer and make it easy. You only have so much mental energy or so much willpower to deal with things. And if you, I'll say, waste it or use it on things that aren't all that important, it's going to be a lot harder when you need to access that willpower or that mental energy on the things that do matter, or resisting things that aren't good for you, or avoiding distractions, or working harder, or maybe going to the gym, right? Depending on what your struggle is. So if you can reduce the amount of things that have that draining impact on your willpower and your mental energy, and try to automate or simplify as many of those processes as you can, you'll have so much more energy to battle the more important things. And, if health isn't your priority, then it could be a different thing. But, my alarms are set, my bedtimes are set, my routines are set, my workout are set. I'm not wasting a ton of mental energy thinking about what I'm going to do with all those things, because they're already predetermined. And that just frees my mind up so much to work on other things, or to focus on other things that are maybe more critical at the time. And I don't have to worry about pivoting, and I don't have to worry about not being prepared if something comes up. So if I could give you a piece of advice, and what's worked for me, is just kind of analyzing your life, figuring out what your priority is, on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis or a long-term basis, whatever that is, and then trying to automate or make as efficient as possible as many things as you can, just to save that willpower, that mental fortitude for the things that are going to matter, or the things that are going to come up. Because every day there's stuff that comes up that you're not thinking about or you're not expecting. And if you've already drained 80% of that mental fortitude that you started the day with, you're going to have a lot harder time making good decisions for what's left. And for me, physical fitness is obviously a big part of my life, and being healthy and living for a long time with a high quality of life is a priority. So, right now I'm on my bike, I'm headed to work, and I'm fortunate enough that I live close enough and it's safe enough for me to ride my bike to work. Obviously that's not going to work for everybody, but I value my cardiovascular fitness. And I'll work sometimes 10-12 hours a day, and the idea of having more time committed to going to exercise is tough, even for me who does this for a living. So as often as I can, I want to get that 120 to 150 minutes of zone 2 cardio a week for optimal heart health. I can plug that into my commute to and from work. And it takes me 25 minutes to ride to work. It takes me about 15 minutes to drive with lights and traffic and all that. So it's just an extra 10 minutes is a lot easier to budget for me than another 30, 40, 45, 50 minutes in a given day or multiple times a week to get that cardiovascular work in. So this is, while I do enjoy it, a lot of it is about making my cardiovascular effort more efficient in my lifestyle. So I hope that's helpful. Just kind of analyze your week or your days and see if there are some things you could optimize or take off your plate or make more efficient. If it's meal prepping or thinking about food all the time, maybe try a service that makes the food for you, and then you can not worry about what you got to eat, what you got to make, going to the grocery, et cetera, et cetera. It's an easy thing to hand off to someone else. Or do like I do, and I meal prep one day a week, prep everything for the week, and I'm done. And I don't have to waste a lot of energy on it. So just analyze what might work for you, even if it's just one thing. Try to make it a little more efficient, try to make it a little better, and see how much better that helps you handle the stresses of life that come up because you're not having to waste as much mental energy worrying about that stuff.